All right, welcome everybody to episode 4. I am Nick Glassett and I am highly restless. I'm going to jump right into this episode for a few reasons. Number one, kind of the inspiration just came to me while I was on my way to Chase Bank to get a large check endorsed. It was an insurance check, if you're wondering. And that the kind of inspiration hit me there. And so I jotted a bunch of stuff down in this little pocket journal that I keep. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pages that I jotted down while I was waiting for the banker lady. And then I started to make a little bit of notes in my journal and decided I just need to get this off my head and just go. Kind of as my normal MO here. Basically no prep, just go. Just go and see what happens. The other thing, too, is right before I started recording this, I got a phone call from Coldwell Banker, a woman that wants to meet with me because somehow she knows I just took my real estate test. I have no idea how. And is recruiting me to go to Coldwell Banker. So I've got a meeting with her in about an hour and 40 minutes. So I got to kind of make this quick. So anyways, I'm going to jump right in. So this episode is going to be for anybody who wants to start their own business, anybody who has contemplated starting their own business, is wrapped up in thinking about it, has done research about it, like anything, whatever. I'm going to start off like this. So a long time ago, obviously when I'm in high school, my friends were my high school buddies, like people I went to high school with. I got my job that turned into my real job, turned into my, I guess it's called a career still, even though I'm not there anymore, but 16 years. Whatever. And they were my high school buddies, were my friends. Still near and dear to my heart. I'm bad at keeping in touch with people, so yes, I still am in touch with them, but not on a regular basis like I should be. But as I worked for Journeys, that was the company that I got hired for, retail, sell shoes in the mall. And as I made my way up the ladder at Journeys, my friends started to become my Journeys friends. It was almost like I started hanging out with the people that I had something in common with. So anyways, 16 years go by and I did what I did at Journeys. It was an amazing adventure, but on my mind, increasingly over time especially, was the fact that I wanted to start my own business. When I was 18, probably even before that, probably 17, 18, and then in college, while I was part-time at Journeys, I wanted to start my own business. That's what I always wanted to do. The long and short of it basically is that I was too lazy to make it happen. I didn't know how to, and and I didn't take the time to learn how to. And then I kind of lucked into this Journeys thing, and the reason that it fit so well with my personality was because I wanted to start my own business, and then they gave me a business to run at age 19. I mean, I was a store manager at age 19, a real rinky-dink, hole-in-the-wall store up by the border of Idaho and Utah, but either way. So anyways, then I run businesses, increasingly larger businesses. I realized that I wanted to keep getting promoted because I keep getting more, every time I did, I got more people to oversee and more lives to change. So I worked my way up. There towards the end, I had anywhere, depending on time of year, I had anywhere between about 250 employees upwards, probably not 500, probably 400 to 450, somewhere in that range during, Christmas. And it was great. All my friends, not all, but nearly all of my friends over those years, turned into Journeys people, right? Other employees of Journeys. Whether or not the reason, I don't know. It's probably just because we had so much in common. But I then left. So I left, and I've talked about this in other podcasts, but I left. My last day was September 10th, which was also my first day as a district manager. So I did exactly 9 years as a district manager. September 10th, I left. The reason I left ultimately was because I wanted to start my own business. Over the course of 16 years, Journeys went from where it felt a hell of a lot like I was running my own business to where it felt like a hell of a lot like I was an employee. Between micromanaged, based off of new technology, new systems, just the company evolving and growing to a point where they no longer just gave me free reign to do whatever the hell I wanted. they put parameters and rules, and I hated it. I absolutely hated the rules portion of it. I always wanted to go back to what it used to be, where I had the freedom to do what I wanted, but that's not the direction that they were sailing the ship, and I was rowing my oar this way, and they were sailing this way. So, anyways, I said, the hell with it. I quit, and I was going to go start my own consulting agency. I had already started a small business before I left, which was inflatable. Oh, look, I got the shirt on, the jump off, which was an inflatable company. Like, we rented bounce houses, spacewalks, whatever you want to call them. We had 2 when I left, so it was hardly a business. But anyways, so I left to go start my own consulting agency. So I started doing that, and after a couple months of working on starting a consulting agency, because it's what I thought I was passionate about, I realized this is the same shit I've been doing at Journeys for the last at least 9 years, if not more. And so I just realized I was doing more of the same thing, and I really actually surprised I didn't want to open a consulting agency. I had no job, and I had no idea what I wanted to do. I had no idea. And I've talked about this in episode 3, the serendipity. I ended up expanding the jump off to where it's big now. I say big, it's still eeny, teeny, tiny, but it's way bigger than it was. Where, for instance, this weekend's rentals, we're going to gross about $500. So now that we're going to be in the busy weekend, $500 a weekend is really what I'm shooting for. And then we'll see what happens once it gets a tad bit warmer, which happens really soon here in southern Louisiana. As of recording this, it's March 11th. So if it gets even busier to where I can get the water slides going out with the bounce houses, it'll be even bigger. But anyways, that's not the point of this episode. What I wanted to talk about, though, is if you are a person that finds yourself in the shoes that I felt myself in, which is constantly in the back of my mind, wanted to open my own business. So go kind of rewind a little bit to the middle of my Journeys career. That it was nowhere on my radar. It was something I always thought I'd be really good at. The interest didn't go away, but my job with Journeys as a district manager kind of scratched all the itches of entrepreneurial world, because I just did what I thought was right. Like, yeah, I didn't do payroll. I had a payroll department. Yeah, I didn't do HR. I had an HR department. And yeah, I didn't do, everything. But running a 20 to 25 store business for a big company, for lack of a better word, with no rules, or very few rules, really, it just scratched I had no desire to leave. I had no desire to go want to start my own company. As things progressed along and got tighter and tighter and tighter, I started to feel more and more bogged down or choked. That old thought in my head kind of started to come to the front, and it got to a point where it was like, I just got to go. So what I want to talk about is, first, being scared to leave your job. Whether you make $50,000 a year or $500,000 a year, leaving that income is scary. But I'm going to offer this to you. That fear is actually your fuel. So everybody's going to be different, and everybody's going to be more or less risk adverse, right? But if you leave without something in place, the fear of failure, or the fear of having to sell your house, or the fear of foreclosure, poverty, whatever it is the fuel that makes you become successful. Like, you have no option but to succeed. Like, the old adage, failure is not an option, is kind of true when you just put yourself out there. Now, if you're the type of person that wants something you can actually jump into, and you want to start building small, so you at least have something to jump to once you leave, I get that too. But either way, if you want to start a business, that lingering thought in the back of your head is never going to go away. The only way to scratch that itch is to jump and take that risk. Now, fast forward to when you're 80, 90, 100, who knows where medicine is by the time we're all that old. But fast forward to that, whether you're making 50 or 500, you're going to be an 85-year-old woman or man, and you're going to look back on your life, and you're going to realize you were very unhappy for a very long time, and that unhappiness will lead you to regret, and you're going to regret not jumping and trying it. Because here's the dirty little secret is if you jump and fail, you're only going to be able to do one of two things. Either A, try again at something different, or maybe you try again at the same thing. Or B, go back to work. Okay? Your regret's going to taste 1,000 times worse than any failure ever would. Your regret will taste 1,000 times worse as an 85-year-old than any failures ever will. Okay? The business, let me check my notes here. I want to make sure I get everything off my mind that was on my mind. Okay, so basically what I want to say is if you don't go, the amount of regret you're going to have for it later is going to be crippling versus how scared you are now or if you fail now. I think that point is pretty clear. Okay, now the business that I've started with my wife, which is the Jump Off, which is now an LLC, which, I'm getting tax forms for. I've got a bank account. Like, it's a real business. Started off teeny tiny and has grown bigger. Now, look, is it going to grow into something that's going to be humongous? I don't know. Maybe. Is it going to stay the size it is and I'll hire a COO to run it and I'll just be the CEO and owner of it while I go do my other exploits? Maybe. I don't know. But what I can tell you about this little, and did I ever think we'd be in inflatable party rentals? No. But what I can tell you is the amount of stuff, this is a very valuable point here. The amount of stuff that I'm learning by doing this small bounce house business will far surpass any profits I ever make from the business. Whether I keep it forever, whether I grow it and then sell it for a couple, tens of thousands, hundreds of, who knows? The amount of learning I'm doing with this business that I'm running on a day in, day out basis is so valuable, it's crazy. Now, what I suggest doing is not what everybody wants to do, but I'm not much of a planner, I'm more of a doer. So I basically just jump in and start doing it, and that's how I learn. That's where I'm going to get my value. That's where I'm going to get my experience. Okay. Whether you want to read about it, research it, then build and then grow, like whatever, it's all up to you. But if you've got the same itch that I have, which is to be an entrepreneur or to be a business owner, to start your own thing or to work for yourself or whatever other cliches out there, then the only thing you can do is jump. Real talk. The only thing you can do is jump. As I always say, everybody's different. So what I want to talk about now, kind of segue a little bit into if and when you do start your own business. And however you decide to do it's fine. That's up to you. Whether you stay an employee and start it on the side or you jump and just go for it, whatever. If you are good, I'm gonna kind of simplify this into two categories that it's going to be too oversimplified, but it's my favorite way to think about it, okay? So if you are good with people and bad at the internet, I hear that all the time. They don't know how Facebook works or Instagram or or Snapchat or LinkedIn, right? Social media, for better or worse, in my estimation, is 80% of quote unquote the internet. That is what it is. That is what the internet is social media. If you don't know it and you don't know how to use it, but you're good with people, that's you actually have a big advantage. Okay, the advantage is you can learn the internet, and you can learn the internet easily and quickly. If you take a regular, like let's say you're going to stay at your job, okay, and you want to learn how to build a business. If you take if you take a week's vacation, and in that week's vacation, you work a normal 40-hour work week, but spend those 8 hours for 5 days on learning the internet, you'll be pretty much done. You'll know as much as just about anybody out there outside of like ultra guru experts or people that are social media marketing agency owners. You'll know more about all those platforms in 1 week, in 40 hours, than 95% of everybody else, right? The internet is easily learnable. Doesn't matter if you're bad with computers. It doesn't matter if you're 55 years old, you didn't grow up with this shit. None of that matters. It's so easy to learn. Once you learn that internet piece, okay, I guess right now we're talking about the 80%, the social media piece, the other part of being good with people is everything. Social media is just people. It's a different interaction with people because it's virtual, but it's just people. And once you figure out the levers to pull, your skill set with people just becomes your marketing. That's how you market. Straight up. That's how you write advertisements. That's how you write anything. Posts, letters, all the other stuff that you do. Videos, stories, Instagram posts, hashtags. It's all just a people game, right? So once you learn the platform, the people thing comes in, right? Now for the other 20% of the internet, which is called SEO, which stands for Search Engine Optimization, which I don't know why it's called Search Engine Optimization. It should literally just be called Google Optimization because that's the only one that matters. So it probably takes one more 40-hour week just to learn SEO, just learn Google. If you want the fast track, it costs money. But if you want the fast track, there is a course that I've taken, and so has my mother. It's called the Blog Millionaire course by a guy named Brandon Gailey. The value of this, I think it's $500. Okay, so this course is $500, and you may be thinking, Jesus, $500. It literally teaches you every single thing there is to know about that other portion of the internet that is not social media. It's a pretty, it's an in-depth, it's such an in-depth course. It's ridiculous. If you want to get a taste of Brandon and his teaching style, you can check out his podcast, which is called the Blog Millionaire Podcast. And it's literally like internet school. Okay. The word blogging or blog can just be replaced by website. A blog is a website. A website most of the time is a blog. Okay. You create your blog on WordPress, WordPress.com. It's a platform that literally 33% of the internet is powered by WordPress. That's what Brandon teaches you. You'll know everything there is to know about SEO, on-page optimization, landing page, sales funnels. Like the list goes on and on and on and on. Hosting, like image sizes, how to create images, where to do it all for free, where to do it paid. It literally will teach you everything there is to know about the other 20%, which is Google. After that, you know everything. Okay. So I have been through the Blog Millionaire course. I have a blog. It's originleadership.com. Everything that's on that blog, 98% of everything that's on that blog, I learned from Brandon's course. I'm getting close to 11,000 page views a month. I have close to 500 email subscribers. And if you go on there and read my blog posts, how do I put this? I'm not consistent. I'm not always targeted SEO. I swear too much. I have typos because I don't have a proofreader. I'm my own proofreader. I'll say this. My blog is far from perfect. It gets 11,000 monthly views. Yes, I need to put a link to the podcast on there. Yes, I need to put a link to my social on there. I need to do all sorts of stuff that I haven't done to this point. But having that level of knowledge is like a cheat code to having a business, because I've got 11,000 people coming to me, and then I've got 500 people that liked what I wrote enough to sign up for my email newsletter that I don't send very often. And so it's like, as soon as I have something that's realistic, like for instance, this podcast, I'm going to get some episodes knocked out before I start sending them to my email list. But you can bet your ass that I'll be sending every podcast episode to my email list every time I record one. Once I've got some episodes under my belt and I feel like I've got a good grasp on the app that I use to record the podcast, how to edit, right? A couple minutes ago there. I don't know if I'll be able to edit this out or not, so I'm just going to talk about it. Shit, I may just leave it in there. I lost my train of thought. I was looking at my little notes. I didn't know where I was. This is all scribble scratch because I was sitting in a chair at the bank waiting for the lady, writing it all down, and so it wasn't perfect. But everything that I'm learning is helping me grow. Once it's good, once I'm happy with the podcast product I'm putting out there, I will start pumping it out there. All right. So there you go. If you're good with people and you're bad at the internet, because that's the number one excuse I hear from everybody, I just don't know how to work all this stuff. There you go. Within 2 weeks of dedicated time, you can be good to go. Okay, now let's flip it on its head. Let's say you are good at computers, or you are good at the internet, or you do understand, computers on a level, a literacy level where you could probably go make a website quicker. You could probably figure out or already know Facebook ads, Instagram, hashtags, et cetera, but you're bad with people. Okay, in that, right? So I said when it's the other way around, when you're good with people, bad at the internet, you have an advantage. When you flip it and you're not as good with people, or maybe you're introverted, or you're too black and white, right? People are gray, math is black and white, but you are good at the internet. You also actually have an advantage too. The advantage there is you can leverage technology to fill the shoes of people, or to say it a little harsher, I guess you could say, you can mask your deficiencies with people with technology. This is not my strong suit, so I'm going to kind of shoot from the hip here, but MailChimp is what I use for newsletters and such. And then if you're bad with people but good with numbers and internet and other platforms, what you can do is you kind of can take the math and start to, I don't want to use the word manipulate because that's a negative connotation. You can leverage the math and you say, okay, I sent this email to say you have 20, right? Teeny tiny email list. Sent it to 20 people, only one opened it, okay? What was in my title that didn't work? And then you can kind of go back and research how to write a good email subject line. Do emojis work good? Who did a study on emojis? It was from Smart Passive Income, SPI.com. Pat Flynn. Whether emojis work in your subject line. Turns out they don't really matter that much. But, and you can start to reverse engineer the things you're doing and almost become, and this is going to be a negative connotation maybe a little bit too, but kind of do the growth hacks, okay, where you take a systematic approach of how to design things. Now, in my opinion, this is why I love Brandon Gailey so much. Brandon Gailey is the systems structure guy. I'm whimsical, right? I like people, not systems, not repetition. He is systems and repetition, and he's figured out a way to go. I almost feel like his strengths are opposite of mine. I don't know how good he is with people because I don't know him personally, but he takes that kind of growth hack approach, which I think the growth hack approach is bullshit, right? You can't growth hack your way into a meaningful business because there is no hack. But if you take both pieces and put them together, you get something meaningful. So whether or not you're good with people, bad with the internet, or bad with people, good with the internet, you can find a way to grow everything if you just put in a little bit of time to learn the platforms. Okay, so talked about SEO. Okay, so if you want to start a business and you can't stop thinking about it because you're like me and it's what you want to do, and maybe you tell yourself that you don't have the balls to jump, okay, my suggestion for you is get the balls and jump. When you jump, and if you fail, you actually haven't failed because you've learned. You may learn, holy shit, this entrepreneurial thing is hard. This running a business thing is hard, and it's not for me. And at that point, you go back and you go get a job. You get a better job, you get a different job, you get a worse job, you get a new job at a new place. You're going to start at the bottom rung and work your way back up to where you were before, etc., 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 etc. What I will tell you is this. you will get that monkey off of your back or off of your mind of you wanting to start your own business. If you don't do it, it won't go away. If you jump and go do it and fail and go back to work because it's not for you, you're free. You learned that you're not a business owner. You'd rather go be an extra hardworking, valuable employee for a corporation and help them grow their corporation and in turn be compensated handsomely if you're good at it. The freedom of knowing that is priceless. You can then go give your all to go be the best you can be, okay? Let's say you jump and fail, but you love it. You jump, you start your business, essential oils, soaps, and you suck at it and you can't figure out Pinterest and you can't get your Shopify store up or your Etsy page isn't optimized and you sell zero soap. You can keep going. Keep learning, keep pushing, keep persevering. You can go be a greeter at... No, that's too cliche. I'm not going to say that. You can go get a job at a bank and go be a bank teller while you continue pushing and learning your soaps. And start going to farmers markets to sell soaps and get more experience in how to make it successful. In doing so, if you go back and get another job, you're still scratching the itch of wanting to start your own business. You'll be forever, ever, ever happier. Okay? Let's say you're like me and you don't get to go get another job and you continue to try and figure out what your thing is, right? So in failing, you start to learn what doesn't work. Maybe you continue with soaps. Maybe you say soap game is too oversaturated. Maybe you realize, like I did, oh, I'm not as passionate. Once soap became my life, I didn't want soap anymore. I'm at a point now in my life where I thought it was consulting, right? I thought it was helping others in their businesses, and it's not. Is my passion inflatables and bounce houses and birthday parties? No. Is this business successful? Yes, because I'm smart and I'm driven, right? And I have the backing of my smart, driven wife to help, whether she helps make decisions or she helps book clients, right? It's successful so far. Could it be more successful if I went all in on it? Yeah. But I'm good at the speed I'm going. And now I'm going to figure out my next thing. So now I'm going to go be a real estate agent. I'm going to see if helping people buy homes and then eventually down the line selling homes is my thing. If it is, I'll continue to grow. There has to be some version of teaching in my life. So once I'm good at it, then I'll go recruit and get underneath me and teach them and mentor them as they grow. I'm going to go do this for a couple years and see where it goes. If I start to realize buying and selling houses isn't for me, maybe commercial real estate is, maybe property management is, maybe buying houses and renting them out is, maybe, the real estate world has always attracted me, and it's got such a big, broad sphere of possibilities that I thought it was a good thing I could go into because I can go a million different ways. It's something I want to do, and I can go a million different ways with it. So 5 years from now, I realize real estate's not my thing. That's okay. Maybe consulting, right? Maybe I get that break from it because I did it for so long as an employee. Maybe I get that break from it, and in the future, I go back into it. You just never know. The moral of the story of this whole episode, how am I doing on time? I'm at 30 minutes. Okay, I gotta hurry. The moral of this entire episode, okay, believe it or not, is not for you to go start your own business. It is not to stand on a soapbox and pump entrepreneur tendencies. it is not in any way, shape, or form braggadocious. It is, in a large way, inspirational. It's not motivational. I'm not your motivation. You're your motivation. I can't motivate you to go start a business. I can inspire you to go start a business. I can inspire you to follow your passion. I can inspire you to stop watching TV and instead start learning the internet. But I can't motivate you to do it. The whole point, or the whole punchline to this entire episode, is something that I haven't figured out how to do yet, but I want to give to everybody I come in contact with. And I want to start to be able to do that at scale, meaning I want to help other people achieve what I have achieved for myself today. It's one word. The word is happy. This whole game is a happiness game. You might be happy Friday night at 7 p.m., Saturday all day, and Sunday till about 3, 4 p.m. when the reality of tomorrow, Monday, starts to set in. And then you go back to work Monday, whether you're making 50 or 500. And Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, beginning of Friday, you're unhappy. But you know that you're making that money to help you for Friday, Saturday, and the beginning of Sunday. And you leverage those really it's 2 days, right? Friday night into Saturday afternoon. You leverage those 2 days to just get as much happy out of that as you possibly can, because you got to go back to misery or whatever level of misery you have for Monday. Whereas if you've got it on the back of your mind that you want to start your own business, go do it, and you'll experience happy. Truly. Like, you'll truly go experience what it's like to be happy. Mondays and Fridays, to me, I gotta be careful how I say this. Both days have a feeling to them. There is an air, a feeling in the air on Monday, right? From all the other human beings that are dreading it, from my 6-year-old son that's got to go to the bus stop at 7:55, to all the other people on the roads that are driving to go to work that wish today wasn't Monday. And then there's a feeling to Friday, which has like this more freeing feeling. It's just in the air, okay? That doesn't go away, or hasn't for me. But what I can tell you is the way I feel on Monday morning when I wake up is the same I feel on Friday morning when I wake up. It's the same. When I'm out, so on Mondays, I will be out in the front yard, loading the trailer, getting all of the stuff I need to go pick up all the bounce houses. Depending on how many rentals I had, is how long I'm going to be gone. So sometimes I'm gone from 9 to 1, just picking up bounce houses from all over southern Louisiana. Driving, lifting, it's heavy. These things are heavy. I have some that are freaking, I don't know how many pounds these things are, but I have one of them that when it's rolled up, I cannot roll it. I cannot flip it onto its end to get it on the belly. I can't do it alone. I have to take somebody with me because it's so heavy. Then on Tuesday, I'm going to, depending on, again, how many rentals there is, I got to blow one up and clean it. So my hands smell like vinegar and dish soap. I'm literally washing off a giant piece of rubber that had dirty kid feet all over it. I got to vacuum it out. Last week, I literally opened the zipper, climbed inside, closed the zipper, and spent 45 minutes mopping water out of the inside of one as a highly claustrophobic person. Then Wednesday, I do it again with another unit. And Thursday, I do it again with another unit. And Friday, I got to load them all up and go take them to new people. I'm not passionate about inflatables. I've already said that. I'm not passionate about birthday parties. I've already said that. The level of happiness that I have standing on a ladder, 10 feet in the air, scrubbing with a Mr. Clean Magic eraser, scrubbing a bounce house. I am so happy while I'm doing it. I'm so happy while I'm driving my little Jeep around, towing giant bounce houses all over the place all day. Like, I just can't even explain to you how happy it all makes me. Interacting with the customers when I go drop one off or pick one up, that is something I am passionate about, and that is something that absolutely lights me up. Interacting with the children when they're there when I get to drop it off, oh my God, I can't even explain to you how happy that is. The point I'm making, though, is even though this business is something that I don't love, I am so happy to scrub dirty bounce houses during the week. It's insane. I have to do it. I do it in my front yard, which you can't see, but I got my window right here. And my neighbors, come out and see me and wave or joke or whatever, And I've always wondered if they think like what they're thinking, like I'm out here cleaning another one of these things. I mean, it never ends. But I'm so happy. It's just insane. So back to the moral of this whole thing. The moral of the story is happiness. Happiness isn't a Mercedes. Happiness isn't a new pair of J's. Happiness isn't a Supreme shirt. Happiness is none of those things. Happiness is not a trip to Barbados, okay? Happiness is in here. And when you go do the thing that's going to make you happy, I can't even tell you what it's like. I literally, I'm speechless of what it's like. What I can tell you is, and this is always, obviously, human beings are procrastinators, so this isn't a great tactic, but I'm going to say it anyways. The level of, or I guess the lack of regret that I'm going to have, so I'm 35, turned 35 4 days ago. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, 4 days ago. So the level of happiness, the lack of regret that I'm going to have as a 45-year-old, okay, that's 10 years from now. I have no idea what I'm going to be doing in 10 years. I know Boston will be 16 and driving, and I know Brody will be 12. I have no idea what I'm going to be doing when I'm 55. But I know I'm not going to regret anything. 65, which is young, believe it or not. Anybody listening to this podcast that's my age or younger, you think 65 is dead. Anybody that's listening to this podcast that's in their 60s knows they feel a hell of a lot better than they ever thought they would. And they're smarter than they ever thought they'd be. And I won't have any regret. I'm 75. I think 75 is still incredibly energetic. There's not going to be regret. There's going to be failures. There's going to be missteps. There's going to be issues. Okay? When I'm 85, now this is where I imagine you start to slow down or have started to slow down. Okay? I'll be able to tell stories. Maybe my story is I started the bounce house company and then I went into real estate and then, I have no idea. I'm not even going to guess. But I will have tried. I will have been, I'm at least low-key successful as of now. When you're 95, okay, at this point, you're nearing the end. As a 95-year-old, I would think your life at this point is more about the past than the future, right? Because you don't know how much future you got left. You're going to be telling stories. You're going to be talking to your children, your grandchildren, probably your great-grandchildren, kind of depending on how your life worked out. Imagine the level of stories. No. Imagine the level of passion that you're going to tell the stories of your life with when you have this burden of regret removed from you. Right? I removed mine when I was 34, but the freedom I'm going to have as a 95-year-old to talk to my direct descendants I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait. It's going to be amazing. So the whole game is about happiness. Go make yourself happy. Do whatever it takes to make yourself happy and enjoy the ride. If you want to jump and you need a little guidance, look to me. I'll give you every bit of small time. Like, I'm like the smallest entrepreneur you know. I'm such a small entrepreneur, I don't actually know if I'm an entrepreneur. I don't know if I've hit that status yet, right? I still have the joke that, I think I took it out of my Instagram, but in my Instagram profile, it used to say entrepreneur, and then under that it said, the little emoji hand pointing up, it said, fancy word for unemployed. I still don't think of myself as an entrepreneur. I still think of myself realistically as unemployed, even though I have this, right? I'm fancy. I got 5 t-shirts and 1 koozie. If you want any advice, or if you want to vent, whatever, I'm gonna give you all the outlets to hit me. So Instagram and Twitter both are at Nick_O_Glass, at Nick O Glass. Facebook is just my name. LinkedIn is pretty sure just my name. My email, I'll give you my email, is Nick, N-I-C-K, at originleadership.com. Nick at originleadership.com. And then I'll do you one better. I'm going to give you my phone number. Area code 985-212-8510. 985-212-8510. Text me, call me, I don't care. And then, of course, you can find me on the blog, originleadership.com. And then I got a YouTube channel. Again, just search my name. I think you got to be fancy in order to get like the youtube.com/Nick Glassett. I think it's youtube.com/user/M Nicholas, Nicholas Glassett. youtube.com/user/M Nicholas Glassett. I'm guessing at that, but find me there. Drop me comments, whatever. I don't care. I'm here for anybody and everybody that's potentially probably not listening to this podcast. I don't know how many listeners I have. So, but anyways, make yourself happy. Good luck. You're going to fail. Enjoy it. Peace out.